Welcome to the English Podcast Classroom. I'm your host and English teacher, and today I'm incredibly excited to share something special with you. Whether you're listening while walking to work, cleaning your house, or relaxing with a cup of tea, you've made an excellent choice to spend this time improving your English skills. Today's episode focuses on 150 daily use English sentences that will help you speak naturally and confidently, just like native speakers do. These aren't random sentences from textbooks. They're real sentences that English speakers use every single day in normal conversations, at work, while shopping, and in social situations. My goal is simple: to help you learn English through consistent listening, sentence repetition, and using English in your real life. By the end of this episode, you'll have 150 powerful sentences ready to use immediately. These sentences will boost your confidence, make your conversations flow better, and help you sound more natural when speaking English. I understand that learning English can feel challenging sometimes. There are grammar rules to remember, new words to learn, and different pronunciations to master. But here's what makes today's episode special. We're focusing on complete sentences that actually work in real life. Instead of studying individual words or complex grammar rules, you'll learn whole thoughts that you can use right away. Think of today's episode as building your English toolkit. Each sentence is like a useful tool that you can take out and use whenever you need it. Whether you're talking to colleagues at work, chatting with neighbors, ordering food at a restaurant, or making new friends, these sentences will help you communicate clearly and confidently. Before we begin, I want you to know that it's completely normal if you don't understand every word immediately. The most important thing is to listen carefully, repeat the sentences when you can, and be patient with yourself. Language learning is a journey, and every sentence you learn today brings you closer to fluency. I encourage you to get comfortable. Maybe grab a notebook if you'd like to write down sentences that are particularly useful for your life, and let's start this exciting journey together. Are you ready to transform your English speaking skills? Let's dive in. Why sentence-based learning works. Before we explore our 150 sentences, let me explain why learning complete sentences is so powerful for your English development. Many English learners spend years studying individual words and grammar rules, but they struggle when it's time to have real conversations. Does this sound familiar to you? Let me share a story about one of my former students, Lisa. Lisa had studied English for 3 years. She knew thousands of vocabulary words and could pass grammar tests perfectly. But when she tried to speak with native speakers, she felt frustrated and nervous. She would think, okay, I need the past tense here, and I need to use the correct article, and I need to remember if this verb is regular or irregular. While she was thinking about all these rules, the conversation would continue without her. Then Lisa discovered sentence-based learning. Instead of building sentences from scratch every time she spoke, she learned complete sentences that she could use immediately in conversations. Within just a few months, her speaking became much more natural and confident. She stopped translating everything in her head because she already knew how to express her thoughts in English. This is the magic of sentence-based learning. When you learn complete sentences, you're not just memorizing words, you're learning how English really flows. You're absorbing the rhythm, the natural patterns, and the way native speakers actually communicate. Think about how you learned your first language as a child. Did your parents teach you grammar rules when you were 2 years old? Of course not. They spoke to you in complete sentences, and you learned by listening, repeating, and practicing those sentences. That's exactly what we're doing today, but in a more organized and efficient way for adult learners. Here are the main benefits of learning complete sentences. First, you learn vocabulary and context. When you learn the sentence, "I'm feeling under the weather today," you're not just learning individual words. You're learning that under the weather means feeling sick, and you're learning a complete thought that you can use immediately when you don't feel well. Second, you absorb natural grammar without studying complicated rules. The sentence, "I wish I could speak English fluently," teaches you a complex grammar structure, but you don't need to analyze the grammar to use it correctly. You simply learn the pattern and apply it. Third, you develop muscle memory for speaking English. When you practice complete sentences regularly, your mouth and brain learn to work together smoothly. Speaking becomes more automatic and less effortful, just like riding a bicycle. Fourth, you build confidence quickly. There's something wonderful about being able to say a complete, correct sentence in English. It makes you feel like you can really communicate, which motivates you to learn even more. Let me share another story. I had a student named Carlos who was preparing for a job interview in English. He spent weeks memorizing vocabulary lists about business and technology. But when we practiced mock interviews, he couldn't put the words together smoothly. Then we changed our approach and focused on learning complete sentences. Sentences like, I have 3 years of experience in customer service, and I'm particularly interested in this position because it matches my career goals perfectly. In his actual interview, Carlos felt confident because he had these complete thoughts ready to use naturally. This is why the 150 sentences we're learning today are so valuable. They're not random sentences, they're carefully chosen sentences that you'll actually use in your daily life. They cover the most common situations you'll encounter: greeting people, talking about your daily routine, expressing opinions, making plans, handling problems, and much more. When you learn these sentences, you're building a foundation of English that you can use immediately. You're also training your brain to think in English patterns instead of translating from your native language. This is one of the most important steps toward becoming fluent. Now, I want you to remember something important as we go through today's sentences. The goal isn't just to understand them. The goal is to make them part of your active English vocabulary. This means practicing them until you can say them smoothly and naturally. It means using them in real conversations with English speakers. It means making these sentences your own. Some of you might be thinking, but won't I sound like a robot if I just repeat memorized sentences? This is an excellent question, and the answer is definitely no, if you practice correctly. The key is to practice these sentences until they become natural for you, and then use them as building blocks for your own original thoughts and conversations. Think of it like learning to cook. When you first learn to make pasta, you follow a recipe exactly. You measure the ingredients carefully and follow each step. But after you've made pasta many times, you start to understand how the ingredients work together. You begin to modify the recipe, add your own touches, and create variations. Learning sentences works the same way. Once these patterns become automatic, you can focus on expressing your own ideas instead of worrying about how to construct the sentence. As we go through our 150 sentences today, I encourage you to do more than just listen passively. If possible, repeat each sentence out loud after I say it. If you can't speak out loud right now because you're in a public place, repeat the sentences silently in your mind. Pay attention to the rhythm and stress patterns. Notice which words are emphasized and which words are pronounced more quickly. Also, try to visualize yourself using each sentence. When we learn, I'm looking forward to the weekend. Don't just memorize the words. Picture yourself saying this to a coworker on Friday afternoon. Imagine the situation, the feeling, the context. This visualization technique will help the sentence stick in your memory and make it easier to use when the right moment comes in real life. Remember, every native English speaker uses these kinds of daily sentences without thinking about them. They're not performing grammar exercises or translating in their heads. They're simply communicating naturally. That's exactly what you'll be able to do once you master these 150 sentences. Are you excited to start building your collection of useful English sentences? I certainly am. Let's begin with sentences you can use every morning to start your day with confidence and positive energy. The 150 sentences, let's start our journey with sentences about morning and daily routines. These are sentences you can use every single day as soon as you wake up. They'll help you think in English right from the beginning of each day, setting a positive tone for your language learning. Sentence 1. Good morning, how did you sleep? This is a wonderful way to greet someone in the morning and show that you care about their well-being. Let me break it down for you. Good morning is our standard morning greeting. You can use it with anyone, from your family members to your coworkers to strangers you meet. How did you sleep? Is a caring question that shows genuine interest in the other person. You might use this sentence when you see your roommate in the kitchen making breakfast, when you call your parents to check on them, or when you meet a friend for an early coffee. It's warm and friendly. Try saying it now. Good morning. How did you sleep? Notice how caring and natural it sounds. A variation you can use is, good morning. Did you sleep well? Both versions are perfect and sound completely natural to native speakers. Sentence 2. I need to get ready for work. This sentence is incredibly useful for describing your morning routine and explaining why you might be busy. Get ready means to prepare yourself completely. This includes showering, getting dressed, eating breakfast, brushing your teeth, and gathering everything you need for the day. You might say this to your family when someone asks if you want to watch television in the morning, or you might think it to yourself as you plan how much time you need. For example, if your friend calls and wants to chat for an hour, you could respond, I'd love to talk, but I need to get ready for work right now. You can easily modify this sentence. I need to get ready for school. I need to get ready for my appointment. Or, I need to get ready to go out tonight. Sentence 3. What time do you usually wake up? This is an excellent question for getting to know someone better and understanding their daily schedule. It's perfect for casual conversations with new friends, coworkers, or anyone you're getting to know. People love talking about whether they're morning people or night owls. You might use this sentence when you're making plans with someone and need to know their schedule, when you're just having a friendly conversation about daily routines, or when you're curious about someone's lifestyle. The word usually is important here. It asks about their normal routine, not just what happened one particular day. Practice saying it. What time do you usually wake up? You can also ask, when do you normally get up? Both questions are natural and friendly. Sentence 4. I'm running late this morning. This is such a common and useful sentence. Running late means you're behind schedule. You don't have enough time to do everything you plan to do before leaving. This situation happens to almost everyone sometimes, so it's definitely a sentence you'll need to use. You might say this to explain why you're walking quickly, why you can't stop to chat for long, or why you need to skip your usual breakfast. For example, if a neighbor wants to have a long conversation while you're leaving for work, you could say, I'm running late this morning. Can we talk more this evening? You can also say, I'm running late for work. I'm running late for my meeting, or simply, I'm running late. The meaning is always clear. Sentence 5. Let me grab a quick coffee before we leave. Grab is such a useful verb in casual English. It means to get something quickly without spending much time. This sentence is perfect when you're with someone and you need to get coffee before going somewhere together. You might use this sentence when you're meeting a friend and want to stop at a coffee shop first, when you're at work and want to get coffee before a meeting starts, or when you need caffeine before starting your day. The word quick shows that you won't take too much time and won't keep the other person waiting long. You can use this pattern with other things too. Let me grab a quick snack. Let me grab my jacket. Or let me grab my keys before we go. Sentence 6. I have a busy day ahead of me. This sentence is perfect for describing your schedule when you have many things planned. A busy day ahead means that you're looking forward to your day and you can see that you'll have many tasks, meetings, appointments, or activities. You might say this to a coworker when you arrive at the office, to your family members at breakfast, or to a friend who asks about your plans for the day. It's a way to let people know that you'll be occupied and might not have much free time for additional activities. Try it. I have a busy day ahead of me. You can also say, I have a busy week ahead, or I have a busy afternoon ahead. The pattern works for any time period. Sentence 7. Would you like some breakfast? This is a polite and caring way to offer food to someone in the morning. You can use this with your family members, house guests, or anyone who's at your home in the morning hours. This question shows hospitality and kindness. You might ask this when you're cooking breakfast and want to share with others, when someone visits you early in the day, or when you notice that someone hasn't eaten yet. It's much more natural and polite than asking, do you want breakfast? The phrase, would you like, sounds more gentle and considerate. You can use this pattern for other meals too. Would you like some lunch? Or would you like some dinner? It's always polite and welcoming. Sentence 8. I'm not much of a morning person. This is a perfect sentence for describing your personality and natural preferences. If you don't enjoy waking up early and you feel more energetic later in the day, you're not much of a morning person. You might use this sentence to explain why you're quiet in the early morning, why you prefer to schedule important meetings later in the day, or just to describe yourself when meeting new people. It's a polite way to let others understand that you need some time to wake up fully and feel alert. On the other hand, if you love mornings and feel most energetic early in the day, you can say, I'm definitely a morning person, or I'm a morning person. I love getting up early and starting my day. Sentence 9. The traffic is really heavy this morning. Heavy traffic means there are many cars on the road, and they're moving slowly or completely stopped. This sentence is incredibly useful for explaining why you might be late or why a trip is taking longer than expected. You might say this when you call your workplace to explain why you're running behind schedule, when you're talking to someone on the phone while sitting in traffic, or when you're describing your morning commute to a friend or family member. Traffic problems are something everyone can relate to, especially people who live in busy cities. You can also say, traffic is terrible today. There's a lot of traffic this morning, or traffic is backed up on the highway. Sentence 10. I forgot to set my alarm last night. This sentence explains a very common problem that leads to oversleeping. Set my alarm means to program your alarm clock or phone to wake you up at a specific time. Everyone has forgotten to do this at least once. You might use this sentence when you're explaining to your supervisor why you're late for work, when you're talking to a friend about why you missed a morning appointment, or when you're describing what went wrong with your morning routine. Most people will understand because they've experienced the same problem. You can also say, my alarm didn't go off this morning, or I overslept because I forgot to set my alarm. Sentence 11. I like to start my day with some exercise. This sentence is excellent for talking about healthy habits and positive morning routines. It shows that you care about your physical health and that you're disciplined about beginning your day with something beneficial. You might use this sentence when someone asks about your morning routine, when you're discussing health and fitness topics, or when you're explaining why you wake up early. It's also a good conversation starter. Many people are interested in fitness and might ask what kind of exercise you prefer. You can easily modify this sentence. I like to start my day with meditation. I like to start my day with reading. Or, I like to start my day with a walk in the park. Sentence 12. Do you have any plans for today? This is such a useful question for casual conversations. It shows genuine interest in the other person and can lead to interesting discussions about work projects, hobbies, social activities, or family time. You might ask this question when you run into a neighbor outside your building, when you're talking to a coworker in the break room, when you call a friend to catch up, or when you're making conversation with someone you've just met. It's open-ended, so the person can talk about whatever is most important or interesting to them that day. You can also ask, what are you up to today? Or what's on your schedule today? All of these questions are natural and friendly. Sentence 13. I need to check my emails before the meeting. In today's connected world, checking email is part of most people's daily routine, especially for work. This sentence is perfect for professional situations when you need to prepare for meetings or catch up on important communication. You might say this to a coworker who wants to have a long conversation, to your supervisor when explaining why you need a few minutes, or to yourself as you prioritize your morning tasks. It shows that you're responsible and want to be well prepared for your professional obligations. You can use this pattern for other preparatory activities. I need to review my notes before the presentation, or I need to prepare my materials before the training session. Sentence 14. The weather looks nice today. Weather is one of the most common conversation topics in English-speaking countries, and this sentence is perfect for commenting on a pleasant day. You can use it to start conversations, suggest outdoor activities, or just make a friendly observation. You might say this when you look out the window in the morning, when you step outside your home, when you're talking to neighbors in the hallway, or when you want to make small talk with colleagues. Whether comments are safe, friendly, and universal, everyone can relate to them. You can also say, "It's a beautiful day today. The sun is shining nicely." Or, "It looks like it'll be a great day for being outside." Sentence 15. I should probably leave in about 10 minutes. This sentence helps you manage your time effectively and communicate your schedule clearly to others. Should probably is a gentle way to talk about what you need to do, and in about 10 minutes gives a specific but flexible time frame. You might use this sentence when you're visiting someone and need to get to work on time, when you're getting ready to leave for an appointment, or when you're coordinating timing with other people. It's polite, clear, and helpful for planning. You can adjust the time as needed. I should probably leave in 5 minutes, or I should probably leave in half an hour. Sentence 16. Have you seen my keys anywhere? This is such a relatable sentence because everyone loses their keys sometimes. This is the perfect way to ask for help finding them. Anywhere means in any place. You're asking someone to think about all the possible places they might have noticed your keys. You might ask this question when you're rushing to leave and can't find your keys, when you're looking around your home or office, or when you're retracing your steps from the previous day. Family members, roommates, or coworkers can often help you remember where you put important items. You can use this same pattern for other lost items. Have you seen my phone anywhere? Or, have you seen my wallet anywhere? Sentence 17. I'm going to take a shower before I leave. This sentence describes a common part of many people's morning routines. Taking a shower before going to work, school, or social events helps people feel fresh and confident for the day ahead. You might say this to family members so they know the bathroom will be occupied for a while, to roommates who are also getting ready for their day, or to explain why you need a little more time before leaving the house. It's straightforward and practical. You can also say, I'm going to shower quickly, or I need to jump in the shower before we go. Sentence 18. What are you planning for lunch today? This question is perfect for mid-morning conversations at work or with friends. It shows interest in the other person's day and can lead to opportunities to eat together, share restaurant recommendations, or coordinate meal plans. You might ask this question to a coworker around 10 or 11 a.m., to a friend when you're texting during the morning hours, or when you're trying to make lunch plans with someone. It's a friendly way to show you care about their day and might want to spend time together. You can also ask, where are you thinking of going for lunch? Or do you want to grab lunch together today? Sentence 19. I'm trying to drink more water throughout the day. This sentence is great for talking about health goals and positive daily habits. Staying properly hydrated is important for everyone, and many people are working on improving their water intake, so this is a very relatable topic. You might say this when someone offers you coffee or soda, and you choose water instead, when you're discussing health and wellness topics with friends, or when you're explaining why you're carrying a large water bottle with you. It shows that you're mindful about your health and making positive choices. You can use this pattern for other healthy habits. I'm trying to walk more throughout the day, or I'm trying to eat more fruits and vegetables. Sentence 20. It feels good to start the day organized. This sentence expresses satisfaction with having a smooth and well-planned morning routine. When you wake up on time, have everything prepared, and feel ready for the challenges ahead, it creates a positive feeling that can improve your entire day. You might say this when you're reflecting on a particularly smooth morning, when you're talking to someone about the importance of good routines, or when you're encouraging someone else to become more organized in their daily life. It's an optimistic and motivating statement. You can also say, I feel so much better when my morning goes smoothly, or starting the day right makes such a difference in how I feel. Sentence 21. I always make my bed first thing in the morning. This sentence describes a simple but effective daily habit. Making your bed is often recommended as a way to start the day with a sense of accomplishment and organization. You might say this when discussing morning routines with friends, when someone asks about your habits, or when encouraging others to develop positive daily practices. It's a small action that can have a positive psychological effect. You can modify this to describe other first thing in the morning habits. I always stretch first thing in the morning, or I always drink a glass of water first thing in the morning. Sentence 22. The morning news is usually depressing. This sentence expresses a common opinion about news media. Many people find that morning news programs focus heavily on negative events, which can affect their mood for the day. You might say this when explaining why you don't watch the news in the morning, when discussing media habits with friends, or when someone asks about your morning routine. It's a relatable observation that many people share. You could also say, I prefer not to watch the news first thing in the morning, or I like to start my day with something more positive than the news. Sentence 23. I'm not fully awake until I have my coffee. This sentence humorously describes how many people feel about their morning coffee routine. It suggests that coffee is essential for feeling alert and ready to start the day. You might say this when someone tries to have a serious conversation with you very early in the morning, when explaining why you need to get coffee before doing anything else, or when describing your morning personality to new people. It's lighthearted and relatable. You can adapt this to other morning necessities. I'm not fully awake until I take a shower, or I'm not ready to start the day until I've had some breakfast. Sentence 24. Do you want to walk together to the station? This sentence is useful for making friendly suggestions about commuting or traveling together. It shows consideration for others and can make daily routines more social and enjoyable. You might ask this to a neighbor who takes the same train, to a coworker who lives nearby, or to a friend who's going in the same direction. Walking together can make the commute more pleasant and provide opportunities for conversation. You can modify this for different destinations. Do you want to walk together to the office? Or do you want to walk together to the bus stop? Sentence 25. I try to leave the house by 8 a.m. every day. This sentence describes a daily routine and time management strategy. Having a consistent departure time helps create structure and ensures you arrive at work or other commitments on time. You might say this when someone asks about your schedule, when explaining why you need to finish getting ready, or when coordinating plans with others. It shows that you're organized and reliable. You can adjust the time to match your actual routine. I try to leave the house by 7:30 a.m., or I try to leave the house by 9 a.m. every day. Section 2. Work and professional life. Now let's explore sentences you'll use in your professional life. Whether you work in an office, a retail store, a restaurant, or any other environment, these sentences will help you communicate clearly and professionally with colleagues, supervisors, and customers. Sentence 26. Good morning, everyone. How was your weekend? This is a perfect Monday morning greeting for your coworkers or team members. It's friendly, inclusive, and shows genuine interest in your colleagues' personal lives. Everyone makes it clear that you're greeting the whole group, not just one specific person. You might use this sentence when you arrive at the office on Monday morning, when you join a team meeting, or when you see several coworkers gathered in the break room. It's a warm way to reconnect with people after the weekend and often leads to interesting conversations about what people did during their time off. You can also say, good morning, team. How was everyone's weekend? Or more casually, hey, everyone, good weekend. Sentence 27. I have a meeting at 2 p.m. today. This sentence is essential for communicating your schedule clearly to others. It's specific, professional, and helps people understand when you'll be available or unavailable for other tasks or conversations. You might say this to your supervisor when discussing your daily plans, to coworkers who want to schedule time with you later, or to family members when they ask about your work schedule. Being specific about times shows professionalism and helps everyone plan their day accordingly. You can modify this for different times and situations. I have a conference call at 10 a.m., or I have a client presentation this afternoon. Sentence 28. Could you please send me that report by Friday? This is a polite but clear way to make a request and establish a deadline. Could you please is much more polite than simply saying, send me, and specifying, by Friday, gives a clear time frame that helps the other person plan their work. You might use this sentence when you need information from a colleague for your own project, when you're managing a team and need deliverables, or when you're following up on work that was previously discussed. The combination of politeness and specificity makes this sentence very effective for professional communication. You can adjust this for different requests and deadlines. Could you please review this document by Thursday? Or, could you please call the client back by 5 p.m.? Sentence 29. I'm working on a project that's due next week. This sentence explains your current priorities and workload to others. It helps colleagues and supervisors understand what you're focused on and why it might be important to you right now. You might say this when someone asks what you're currently doing, when you need to explain why you're busy or stressed, when you're declining additional tasks, or when you're updating your manager about your current responsibilities. It's a professional way to communicate about your work priorities. You can modify this for different time frames. I'm working on a project that's due tomorrow, or I'm working on a project that's due at the end of the month. Sentence 30. Let's schedule a meeting to discuss this further. This sentence is perfect when you need to have a longer or more detailed conversation about a complex topic. It shows professionalism and ensures that important subjects get proper attention and discussion time. You might use this when an email conversation is getting too complicated, when you need to involve multiple people in a decision, when a topic is too complex for a quick conversation, or when you want to give something your full attention. It's an excellent way to manage your time and ensure thorough communication. You can also say, we should set up a meeting to go over this in detail, or let's find time to discuss this properly. Sentence 31. I need to focus on this task right now. This sentence politely communicates that you're busy and can't be interrupted at the moment. It's much better than ignoring people or being rude, and it helps you maintain your productivity while still being considerate of others. You might say this when a coworker wants to have a casual conversation while you're concentrating on important work, when someone asks for help with something that isn't urgent, or when you need to decline a social invitation during work hours. It's honest, direct, and professional. You can also say, I'm really concentrated on this right now, or I need to give this my full attention for a bit. Sentence 32. What's the deadline for this project? This is a crucial question for managing your work effectively and meeting expectations. Understanding deadlines helps you prioritize tasks, plan your schedule, and allocate appropriate time for different responsibilities. You might ask this when you're assigned new work, when you're planning your weekly schedule, when you're working with a team and need to coordinate timing, or when you want to make sure you understand expectations clearly. It shows responsibility and good planning skills. You can also ask, when do you need this completed? Or what's the time frame we're working with? Sentence 33. I'll get back to you on that by the end of the day. This sentence manages expectations professionally and shows reliability. It acknowledges someone's request or question and gives them a specific time frame for when they can expect your response. You might use this when someone asks you a question you can't answer immediately, when you need time to research something thoroughly, when you need to check with other people before responding, or when you want to give a thoughtful response rather than a rushed one. It's professional and respectful of both your time and theirs. You can adjust the time frame based on your needs. I'll get back to you by tomorrow morning, or I'll get back to you by this afternoon. Sentence 34. Can we move the meeting to 3 p.m. instead? This sentence is useful for rescheduling when your plans change unexpectedly. It's polite to ask rather than demand, and suggesting a specific alternative time makes it easier for others to respond quickly and efficiently. You might use this when you have a scheduling conflict, when an urgent issue comes up, when you need more time to prepare for the meeting, or when you realize the current time won't work well for all the people involved. It shows flexibility and consideration for others' schedules. You can also say, would it be possible to reschedule for 3 p.m.? Or, could we push the meeting back to 3 p.m.? Sentence 35. I'm sorry, but I have to disagree with that approach. This sentence allows you to express disagreement professionally and respectfully. Starting with I'm sorry softens the disagreement, and explaining that you disagree with that approach, rather than attacking the person, keeps the conversation professional and constructive. You might use this in meetings when you have a different opinion based on your experience, when you think a proposed plan might have significant problems, when you have specialized knowledge that leads you to a different conclusion, or when you need to provide honest feedback about a strategy. Being able to disagree professionally is an important workplace skill. You can also say, I have a different perspective on this, or I see this situation differently. Sentence 36. Could you clarify what you mean by that? This is a professional way to ask for more information when you don't understand something completely. It's much better than pretending to understand or making assumptions that might lead to mistakes later. You might use this in meetings when someone uses technical terms you're not familiar with, when instructions aren't completely clear to you, when you want to make sure you understand expectations correctly, or when someone's explanation seems confusing or incomplete. Asking for clarification shows that you care about doing your work correctly. You can also say, could you explain that in more detail? Or, I'm not sure I understand completely. Could you elaborate? Sentence 37. I think we're making good progress on this project. This sentence provides positive feedback about a project's development while acknowledging that there's still work to be done. It's encouraging and helps maintain team morale during long or challenging projects. You might say this during team meetings, when updating your supervisor about a project's status, when encouraging colleagues who are working hard, or when reflecting on recent accomplishments with your team. It strikes a good balance between celebrating progress and staying focused on remaining goals. You can also say, we're on the right track with this, or things are moving along well. Sentence 38. What's the next step in this process? This question shows initiative and forward-thinking. It demonstrates that you're engaged with the project and want to keep things moving efficiently toward completion. You might ask this after completing a task and wanting to continue productively, during planning meetings when discussing project phases, when you want to be proactive about your work, or when the next steps aren't clear to you. It helps ensure that projects don't stall and that everyone knows their responsibilities. You can also ask, what should we focus on next? Or where do we go from here? Sentence 39. I'd like to get your feedback on this proposal. This sentence shows that you value others' opinions and want to improve your work through collaboration. Asking for feedback is a sign of professionalism, continuous learning, and respect for colleagues' expertise. You might say this when you've prepared a document or presentation, when you're working on something new or challenging, when you want to make sure you're on the right track, or when you respect someone's knowledge in a particular area. Good feedback can significantly improve the quality of your work. You can also say, I'd appreciate your thoughts on this, or could you take a look at this and let me know what you think? Sentence 40. Let's brainstorm some solutions to this problem. This sentence suggests collaborative problem-solving and creative thinking. Brainstorm means to generate many ideas quickly without immediately judging whether. Sentence 41. I'll take care of that right away. This sentence shows responsiveness and reliability in professional situations. It assures others that their request will be handled quickly and efficiently, which builds trust and demonstrates your commitment to good service. You might say this when someone asks you to handle something urgent, when you want to show that you prioritize their needs, when something requires immediate attention, or when you want to demonstrate your reliability to colleagues or supervisors. Following through quickly on this promise is essential for maintaining trust. You can also say, I'll handle that immediately, or consider it done. Sentence 42. We need to prioritize this task. This sentence helps with project management and effective time allocation. It communicates that something is more important than other tasks and should be completed first. You might say this when deadlines are approaching quickly, when something urgent and important comes up unexpectedly, when resources are limited and you need to focus efforts, or when you need to help your team understand what's most critical. Clear priorities help everyone work more effectively and efficiently. You can also say, "This should be our top priority right now," or "We need to focus on this before anything else." Sentence 43. I'm happy to help with that project. This sentence shows willingness, positive attitude, and team spirit. It's an excellent way to volunteer for additional work or offer support to colleagues who need assistance. You might say this when someone needs help with their workload, when you have availability to take on additional responsibilities, when you want to learn something new, or when you want to be a supportive team member. Offering help builds good relationships with colleagues and often leads to interesting learning opportunities. You can also say, "I'd be glad to assist with that," or "Count me in for that project." Sentence 44. Let me double-check these numbers. This sentence shows attention to detail and commitment to accuracy. It's especially important when dealing with financial information, statistics, research data, or any numbers that need to be completely precise. You might say this when reviewing reports before submitting them, when someone questions your calculations, when you want to make absolutely sure you haven't made any errors, or when accuracy is critically important for decision-making. Taking time to verify information prevents costly mistakes. You can also say, "Let me verify these figures," or "I want to make sure these calculations are correct." Sentence 45. Could you walk me through this process? This sentence asks someone to explain something step by step in detail. It's an excellent way to learn new procedures, understand complex systems, or make sure you can complete tasks correctly. You might use this when you're new to a job and learning procedures, when you encounter unfamiliar processes, when you want to make sure you understand something completely before doing it yourself, or when you need to learn how to train others. Most people are happy to explain processes when asked politely. You can also say, "Could you show me how this works?" Or, "Could you explain this process to me step by step?" Sentence 46. I think there might be an issue with this. This sentence diplomatically points out a potential problem without being accusatory or overly critical. It draws attention to something that might need fixing while maintaining a professional tone. You might say this when you notice errors in documents, when something doesn't seem to be working as expected, when processes aren't producing the right results, or when you want to raise concerns constructively. It's a professional way to highlight problems without creating conflict. You can also say, "I'm noticing a problem here," or "This doesn't look quite right to me." Sentence 47. We should probably start wrapping this up. This sentence helps manage meeting time effectively and brings discussions to a productive close. It's polite but clear about the need to end the conversation or meeting. You might use this when meetings are running longer than scheduled, when you've covered all the important points on the agenda, when people need to get back to other work, or when you want to respect everyone's time. Good time management is highly appreciated in professional environments. You can also say, "We should start thinking about concluding," or "Let's begin to wrap this up." Sentence 48. I'll send out the meeting notes later today. This sentence shows follow-through, organization, and commitment to clear communication. Meeting notes help everyone remember what was discussed, what decisions were made, and what actions need to be taken. You might say this at the end of meetings, when people ask about documentation, when you want to ensure clear communication across the team, or when you're taking responsibility for keeping accurate records. Sending detailed notes shows professionalism and helps projects stay organized and on track. You can also say, "I'll distribute the summary this afternoon," or "I'll get the notes out to everyone by end of day." Sentence 49. What are your thoughts on this strategy? This sentence invites input and shows that you value others' opinions and expertise. It's an excellent way to get different perspectives before making important decisions. You might ask this during planning sessions, when evaluating different options, when you want to build consensus among team members, or when you respect someone's knowledge in a particular area. Getting input from others often improves the quality of decisions and helps ensure buy-in from the team. You can also ask, how do you feel about this approach? Or what's your take on this plan? Sentence 50. I need to run this by my supervisor first. This sentence manages expectations appropriately while respecting organizational hierarchy and proper procedures. It shows that you understand your authority level and don't make decisions beyond your scope. You might say this when someone asks you to approve something significant, when you're unsure about company policy, when decisions involve substantial resources or major changes, or when you want to make sure you're following proper procedures. It demonstrates responsibility and professionalism. You can also say, I should check with my manager about this, or I'll need approval from my boss for that decision. Section 3. Shopping and everyday transactions, 20 sentences. Shopping is something we all do regularly, and these sentences will help you feel confident whether you're buying groceries, clothes, electronics, or anything else. These sentences will make your shopping experiences smoother, more efficient, and more enjoyable. Sentence 51. Excuse me, where can I find the milk? This is one of the most useful sentences for grocery shopping and navigating stores. Excuse me is a polite way to get someone's attention, and asking where to find specific items helps you shop more efficiently. You might use this sentence when you're in a large supermarket and can't locate something you need, when you're shopping in a new store, or when you're looking for items that aren't clearly marked. Store employees are usually happy to help customers find what they're looking for. You can use this pattern for any item. Excuse me, where can I find the bread? Or excuse me, where can I find the pharmacy section? Sentence 52. How much does this cost? This is an essential question for any shopping situation. It's direct, clear, and helps you make informed purchasing decisions based on your budget. You might ask this when price tags aren't visible or clear, when you're considering whether to buy something, when comparing prices between different items, or when you want to make sure you understand the total cost. It's a straightforward question that any salesperson can answer quickly. You can also ask, what's the price of this? Or how much is this item? Sentence 53. Do you have this in a different size? This sentence is incredibly useful when shopping for clothing, shoes, or any items that come in multiple sizes. It shows that you're interested in the item but need a different size to make it work for you. You might use this when trying on clothes that don't fit properly, when shopping for shoes, when buying items for other people, or when you like a product but the available size isn't right. Sales associates can often check inventory or order different sizes for you. You can also ask, do you have this in a larger size? Or do you have this in a smaller size? Sentence 54. I'm just looking around, thank you. This sentence politely lets salespeople know that you're browsing and don't need immediate assistance. It's a friendly way to maintain your independence while shopping. You might say this when a salesperson approaches you in a store, when you want to take your time examining products, when you're not ready to make any purchases yet, or when you prefer to shop without pressure. Most salespeople will respect your space after hearing this. You can also say, I'm just browsing, thanks, or I'm okay for now, thank you. Sentence 55. Could I try this on? This sentence is essential when shopping for clothes, shoes, or accessories. Trying items on helps ensure proper fit and allows you to see how things look on you before purchasing. You might ask this when shopping for clothing, when you're unsure about sizes, when you want to check the fit and comfort of shoes, or when you're buying something important and want to be certain it's right. Most clothing stores have fitting rooms available for customers. You can also ask, where are the fitting rooms? Or can I see how this looks on me? Sentence 56. I'd like to return this item. This sentence is important for handling returns or exchanges when products don't meet your expectations or needs. It's straightforward and professional. You might say this when something doesn't fit properly, when a product is defective or damaged, when you changed your mind about a purchase, or when you received the wrong item. Having your receipt and understanding the store's return policy makes this process smoother. You can also say, I need to return this, or I'd like to exchange this item. Sentence 57. Do you accept credit cards? This sentence helps you understand payment options before making purchases. It's practical and helps you plan how to pay for your items. You might ask this at small businesses that might only accept cash, when shopping at markets or food trucks, when making large purchases, or when you want to use a specific payment method. Knowing payment options in advance prevents awkward situations at checkout. You can also ask, what payment methods do you accept? Or can I pay with a card? Sentence 58. Is there a warranty on this product? This sentence shows that you're a smart shopper who thinks about long-term value and protection for your purchases. Understanding warranty coverage helps you make informed decisions about expensive items. You might ask this when buying electronics, appliances, tools, or other items that might need repairs, when making significant purchases, when comparing similar products, or when you want peace of mind about your investment. Good warranties can influence purchasing decisions. You can also ask, what kind of warranty comes with this? Or is this product covered by a guarantee? Sentence 59. I'm looking for a gift for my friend. This sentence helps salespeople understand your needs and provide appropriate suggestions. Shopping for others requires different considerations than shopping for yourself. You might say this when you need ideas or recommendations, when you want help choosing between options, when you're unsure about sizes or preferences, or when you need gift wrapping services. Sales associates often have good suggestions for popular gifts. You can specify more details. I'm looking for a birthday gift for my sister, or I'm looking for a gift for my coworker. Sentence 60. What time do you close today? This sentence helps you plan your shopping trip and avoid rushing. Knowing store hours ensures you have enough time to shop comfortably. You might ask this when you arrive late in the day, when you have a lot of shopping to do, when you're planning to return later, or when you want to avoid being rushed during your visit. It shows consideration for the store's schedule. You can also ask, how late are you open? Or what are your hours today? Sentence 61. Could you show me where the restrooms are? This sentence asks for practical information that many shoppers need during longer shopping trips. It's a straightforward request that any store employee can answer. You might ask this in large shopping centers, during extended shopping trips, when shopping with children, or when you need to take a break. Most stores are happy to direct you to customer restrooms. You can also ask, where are the bathrooms? Or is there a restroom I can use? Sentence 62. Do you have any sales or discounts today? This sentence shows that you're budget conscious and looking for good deals. Many stores have regular sales or special promotions that can save you money. You might ask this when making larger purchases, when shopping for multiple items, when you see sales signs but want more information, or when comparing prices between stores. Sales associates can inform you about current promotions and upcoming sales. You can also ask, are there any specials running today? Or do you have any current promotions? Sentence 63. I need a bag for this, please. This sentence requests packaging for your purchases. Many stores charge for bags now or require customers to ask for them specifically. You might say this at checkout, when buying multiple items, when you don't have your own shopping bag, or when you need something to carry your purchases safely. It's a simple but necessary request in many shopping situations. You can also say, could I have a bag for these items? Or do you have bags available? Sentence 64. Is this your final price? This sentence politely inquires about the possibility of negotiation, especially useful in certain shopping contexts like car dealerships, flea markets, or when making large purchases. You might ask this when buying expensive items, when shopping at markets where bargaining is common, when making bulk purchases, or when comparing prices with competitors. Not all situations allow for negotiation, but it's worth asking politely. You can also ask, is there any flexibility on this price? Or is this the best price you can offer? Sentence 65. Could you hold this item for me? This sentence requests that the store set aside an item while you continue shopping or make a decision. It's useful when you need time to consider a purchase or compare options. You might ask this when you need to check with someone else before buying, when you want to continue shopping before deciding, when you need to get cash or a different payment method, or when you want to make sure the item is still available later. Most stores can hold items for a reasonable amount of time. You can also ask, can you put this aside for me? Or could you reserve this item for a few hours? Sentence 66. I'm comparing prices with other stores. This sentence explains that you're shopping around for the best deal. It's honest and shows that you're a careful shopper who wants value for your money. You might say this when you're not ready to buy immediately, when a salesperson is pressuring you to purchase right away, when you want to see if stores will match prices, or when you're making a significant purchase and want to be thorough. Price comparison is a smart shopping strategy. You can also say, I want to check a few other places first, or I'm shopping around for the best price. Sentence 67. Do you offer free delivery? This sentence asks about shipping or delivery services, which is especially important for large or heavy items. Understanding delivery options and costs helps you plan your purchase. You might ask this when buying furniture, appliances, or other large items, when you don't have transportation for your purchase, when comparing total costs between stores, or when delivery would be more convenient than pickup. Many stores offer delivery services for a fee or sometimes free with minimum purchases. You can also ask, what are your delivery options? Or how much does shipping cost? Sentence 68. I'd like to speak with a manager. This sentence requests to talk with someone in authority, usually when you need help resolving a problem or have a complaint that regular employees can't address. You might ask this when you have a serious complaint about service or products, when you need help with a complex return or exchange, when you want to provide feedback about your experience, or when you need someone with more authority to make decisions. It should be used respectfully and only when necessary. You can also say, could I talk to your manager, please? Or is a supervisor available? Sentence 69. Thank you for your help. This sentence expresses gratitude to salespeople or store employees who have assisted you. It's polite and creates positive interactions during shopping. You might say this after receiving good customer service, when someone helps you find items, after getting product information or recommendations, or simply to acknowledge someone's assistance. Thanking people for their help creates a pleasant shopping atmosphere. You can also say, I appreciate your assistance, or thanks for helping me today. Sentence 70. I'll think about it and come back later. This sentence politely indicates that you're not ready to make a purchase decision immediately. It gives you time to consider your options without pressure. You might say this when you need to discuss a purchase with family, when you want to compare prices elsewhere, when you're not completely sure about an item, or when you need time to consider whether you really need something. Most salespeople will understand and respect your decision-making process. You can also say, let me consider this and I'll be back, or I need some time to decide. Section 4. Social life and relationships, 25 sentences. Social interactions are a huge part of our daily lives, and these sentences will help you build better relationships, make new friends, and navigate social situations with confidence and natural English. Sentence 71. It's great to see you again. This sentence expresses genuine happiness when meeting someone you know after some time apart. It's warm, friendly, and shows that you value the relationship. You might say this when running into an old friend unexpectedly, when seeing a colleague after vacation, when meeting someone you haven't seen in weeks or months, or when reconnecting with acquaintances at social events. It immediately creates a positive atmosphere for your conversation. You can also say, so good to see you, or what a nice surprise to run into you. Sentence 72. How have you been lately? This question shows genuine interest in someone's life and well-being. It's more personal than just asking, how are you? And invites a more detailed response about recent experiences. You might ask this when catching up with friends, when seeing someone after a period of time, when you know someone has been dealing with challenges or changes, or when you want to have a meaningful conversation rather than just small talk. It opens the door for deeper discussions. You can also ask, what have you been up to lately? Or how are things going for you? Sentence 73. Would you like to grab coffee sometime? This sentence is a friendly way to suggest spending time together in a casual setting. Coffee meetings are relaxed and give people a chance to talk and get to know each other better. You might suggest this to a new coworker you'd like to know better, to an acquaintance you'd like to become friends with, when you want to catch up with someone properly, or when you enjoy someone's company and want to spend more time with them. Coffee dates are perfect for building relationships. You can also suggest, would you like to get lunch together? Or want to meet for coffee this weekend? Sentence 74. I'm sorry I'm running late. This sentence apologizes for tardiness and shows respect for the other person's time. It acknowledges that being late isn't ideal and shows that you care about being punctual. You might say this when you arrive late for social plans, when traffic or unexpected delays make you behind schedule, when you call or text someone to let them know you're running late, or when you want to start a meeting or social gathering by acknowledging your lateness. Taking responsibility shows maturity and consideration. You can also say, sorry for being late, or I apologize for keeping you waiting. Sentence 75. What are your plans for the weekend? This question is perfect for casual conversation and shows interest in someone's personal life and activities. It can lead to discussions about hobbies, social activities, or even opportunities to make plans together. You might ask this to coworkers on Friday, to friends when making conversation, to new acquaintances when getting to know them better, or when you're considering making your own weekend plans. It's a safe, friendly question that most people enjoy answering. You can also ask, any exciting plans for the weekend? Or, what do you have going on this weekend? Sentence 76. That sounds like a lot of fun. This sentence shows enthusiasm and positive interest in what someone else is telling you about their activities or plans. It encourages them to share more and shows that you're engaged in the conversation. You might say this when someone describes their hobbies, when they tell you about upcoming trips or events, when they share exciting news about their activities, or when you want to show support for their interests. Positive reactions make conversations more enjoyable for everyone. You can also say, that sounds amazing, or how exciting. Sentence 77. I'd love to join you if you don't mind. This sentence politely expresses interest in participating in someone's plans or activities. The phrase, if you don't mind, shows that you respect their right to say no and don't want to impose. You might say this when someone mentions plans that sound interesting to you, when you'd like to be included in group activities, when someone is doing something you'd enjoy, or when you want to spend more time with certain people. It's a respectful way to ask for inclusion. You can also say, could I tag along? Or would it be okay if I joined you? Sentence 78. Let me know if you need anything. This sentence offers help and support to others. It shows that you care about their well-being and are willing to assist if needed. You might say this to friends who are going through difficult times, to neighbors who might need occasional help, to coworkers who are handling challenging projects, or to anyone you want to support. It's a kind gesture that strengthens relationships. You can also say, don't hesitate to ask if you need help, or I'm here if you need anything. Sentence 79. I really enjoyed spending time with you today. This sentence expresses appreciation for time spent together and makes the other person feel valued. It's a nice way to end social interactions on a positive note. You might say this after having coffee with a friend, after a pleasant dinner together, after working on a project with someone, or after any enjoyable social activity. Expressing appreciation makes people feel good and encourages future interactions. You can also say, "I had a great time with you today," or "It was wonderful spending time together." Sentence 80. We should definitely do this again soon. This sentence suggests future plans and shows that you enjoyed the current experience enough to want to repeat it. It keeps relationships moving forward and shows ongoing interest. You might say this after a fun social activity, after a successful collaboration, after enjoying someone's company, or when you want to maintain and strengthen a relationship. It plants the seed for future interactions. You can also say, "Let's make sure we do this again," or "We'll have to get together again soon." Sentence 81. I'm having a small gathering at my place this Saturday. This sentence invites people to a social event at your home. It describes the event as small, which makes it sound intimate and comfortable rather than overwhelming. You might say this when planning a dinner party, when organizing a casual get-together, when celebrating something special, or when you want to bring friends together in a relaxed setting. Home gatherings often create closer connections than meeting in public places. You can also say, "I'm having a few people over this Saturday," or "Would you like to come to a small party at my house?" Sentence 82. Thank you so much for inviting me. This sentence expresses gratitude for being included in social plans. It shows that you appreciate being thought of and included in others' activities. You might say this when accepting invitations to parties, when someone includes you in their plans, when you receive invitations to special events, or when you want to show appreciation for social inclusion. Thanking people for invitations makes them feel good about including you. You can also say, "I really appreciate you including me," or "Thanks for thinking of me." Sentence 83. I'm afraid I can't make it. This sentence politely declines an invitation or indicates that you can't attend an event. The phrase, "I'm afraid," softens the disappointment and shows regret about not being able to participate. You might say this when you have scheduling conflicts, when you have prior commitments, when you're not available on the proposed date, or when you need to decline for personal reasons. It's honest but polite. You can also say, "Unfortunately, I can't attend," or "I won't be able to make it, but thank you for the invitation." Sentence 84. How long have you two known each other? This question is useful in social situations when you meet people who obviously know each other well. It helps you understand relationships and can lead to interesting stories about how people met. You might ask this at parties when meeting someone's friends, when you encounter people who seem close, when you're curious about relationships, or when you want to make conversation in group settings. It often leads to fun stories about friendships or relationships. You can also ask, "How did you two meet?" or "Where do you know each other from?" Sentence 85. I love what you've done with your hair. This sentence gives a compliment about someone's appearance. Compliments about hair are generally safe and appreciated because hair is something people often put effort into styling. You might say this when someone has gotten a haircut, when they've changed their hairstyle, when their hair looks particularly nice, or when you want to make someone feel good about their appearance. Genuine compliments strengthen social bonds. You can also say, "Your hair looks great today," or "I really like your new hairstyle." Sentence 86. You have a lovely home. This sentence compliments someone's living space and shows appreciation for their hospitality. It's particularly appropriate when visiting someone's home for the first time. You might say this when invited to dinner at someone's house, when visiting friends or family, when attending house parties, or when you want to acknowledge someone's effort in creating a welcoming environment. Home compliments make hosts feel proud and appreciated. You can also say, "Your house is beautiful," or "You have such a nice place." Sentence 87. I'm so happy for you. This sentence expresses genuine joy about someone else's good news or success. It shows that you care about their happiness and want to celebrate their achievements with them. You might say this when someone shares good news about promotions, when they announce engagements or relationships, when they achieve personal goals, or when they experience positive life changes. Sharing in others' happiness strengthens friendships. You can also say, "That's wonderful news," or "I'm thrilled for you." Sentence 88. Is everything okay? This question shows concern and care when you notice that someone seems upset, stressed, or different from usual. It opens the door for them to share what's bothering them if they want to. You might ask this when someone seems quiet or sad, when their behavior is different from normal, when they look stressed or worried, or when you want to offer support. It shows that you pay attention to others and care about their well-being. You can also ask, "Are you all right?" Or, "You seem a little off today, is something wrong?" Sentence 89. I'm here if you want to talk. This sentence offers emotional support and a listening ear to someone who might be going through difficulties. It shows that you're available without being pushy about getting information. You might say this to friends who seem upset, to family members dealing with challenges, to coworkers who appear stressed, or to anyone who might benefit from having someone to talk to. It's a compassionate offer of support. You can also say, "Feel free to talk to me if you need to," or "I'm a good listener if you need one." Sentence 90. Let's stay in touch. This sentence expresses desire to maintain contact and continue the relationship. It's particularly useful when meeting new people or when saying goodbye to people you don't see regularly. You might say this when meeting someone interesting at a social event, when saying goodbye to visiting friends or family, when concluding business relationships that you'd like to keep personal, or when moving away from people you've enjoyed knowing. It keeps doors open for future contact. You can also say, "Don't be a stranger," or "Make sure we keep in contact." Sentence 91. It was nice meeting you. This sentence is a polite way to conclude interactions with new people. It expresses that you enjoyed the encounter and leaves a positive impression. You might say this when leaving parties where you met new people, when concluding conversations with strangers in social settings, when ending business meetings with potential for future contact, or when you want to end interactions on a friendly note. It's a classic polite closing. You can also say, "I enjoyed meeting you," or "It was a pleasure to meet you." Sentence 92. We have so much in common. This sentence expresses pleasant surprise about shared interests, experiences, or values with someone. It often strengthens new friendships and creates bonds between people. You might say this when discovering that you and someone else have similar hobbies, when you realize you've had similar life experiences, when you find shared opinions on topics you care about, or when you feel a strong connection with someone new. Common ground creates friendship foundations. You can also say, "We're so similar," or "I can't believe how much we have in common." Sentence 93. Would you like me to introduce you to some people? This sentence offers to help someone meet others in social situations. It shows kindness and helps people feel more comfortable in group settings where they might not know many people. You might offer this to new coworkers at office parties, to friends who are shy in social situations, to people who seem to be standing alone at gatherings, or to anyone who might benefit from making new connections. Introductions help build communities and friendships. You can also say, "Let me introduce you to some friends," or "Come on, I'll help you meet some people." Sentence 94. I think you would really like each other. This sentence suggests that two people would get along well and might become friends. It shows that you understand people well enough to predict compatibility. You might say this when planning to introduce friends who have similar interests, when describing mutual friends to each other, when suggesting that people meet, or when you think two people would genuinely enjoy each other's company. Good introductions can lead to lasting friendships. You can also say, "You two should definitely meet," or "I have a feeling you'd get along great." Sentence 95. Thanks for being such a good friend. This sentence expresses gratitude for friendship and support. It acknowledges the value of the relationship and makes the other person feel appreciated. You might say this during difficult times when friends have supported you, on special occasions when reflecting on relationships, when you want to express appreciation for ongoing friendship, or when someone has been particularly helpful or kind. Expressing gratitude strengthens bonds. You can also say, "I really appreciate our friendship," or "You're such an amazing friend." Section 5. Travel and Transportation, 20 sentences. Whether you're traveling for business or pleasure, locally or internationally, these sentences will help you navigate transportation, hotels, restaurants, and all the situations that come up when you're away from home. Sentence 96. Excuse me, how do I get to the airport? This sentence asks for directions to one of the most important transportation hubs. It's essential for travelers who need to catch flights or pick up arriving passengers. You might ask this when you're in an unfamiliar city, when public transportation routes aren't clear, when you need to choose between different transportation options, or when you want to confirm the best route. Getting clear directions helps ensure you arrive on time. You can also ask, "What's the best way to get to the airport?" or "Which bus goes to the airport?" Sentence 97. Is the seat taken? This question is essential for public transportation, restaurants, and any shared seating situations. It's polite to ask before sitting down, especially when spaces are limited. You might ask this on buses, trains, or planes when looking for available seating, in restaurants when tables are shared, in waiting areas when you need a place to sit, or at events where seating isn't assigned. It shows consideration for others. You can also ask, "Is anyone sitting here?" or "Mind if I sit here?" Sentence 98. What time does the next train leave? This question is crucial for planning travel schedules and ensuring you don't miss important connections. Timing is often critical when using public transportation. You might ask this at train stations when planning your journey, when you've missed a previous train, when comparing different departure times, or when you need to coordinate with other plans. Having accurate timing information reduces travel stress. You can also ask, "When is the next departure?" or "What time is the next train to downtown?" Sentence 99. I'd like to book a room for tonight. This sentence is essential for finding accommodation when traveling. It's direct and clear about your immediate lodging needs. You might say this when arriving in a city without prior reservations, when your travel plans change unexpectedly, when you need emergency accommodation, or when you prefer to book hotels in person rather than online. Being clear about your needs helps hotel staff assist you efficiently. You can also say, "Do you have any rooms available for tonight?" or "I need a room for one night." Sentence 100. Could you call me a taxi, please? This sentence requests transportation assistance from hotel staff, restaurant employees, or other service providers. It's a polite way to ask for help arranging transportation. You might ask this at hotels when you need rides to airports or attractions, at restaurants when you don't have your own transportation, when you're unfamiliar with local taxi services, or when you want assistance with reliable transportation. Service staff are usually happy to help with transportation arrangements. You can also say, "Can you help me get a taxi?" or "Would you mind calling a cab for me?" Sentence 101. I'm here on vacation. This sentence explains the purpose of your travel.